Hey everyone. You know what? Just to give a little background on this hat here, I was born in Russia. Um, Both of my grandparents fought in World War II. My grandpa on my mother's side was in the war all 5 years. This particular hat actually isn't a military hat, it was a Soviet issue police hat. And I got it when I returned to Russia for a visit over 2 summers. The first time was over the summer of 2000. The second time was 2003, and I pretty much stayed the entire summers. We also traveled extensively throughout Europe and Ukraine as well. I spent a lot of time in Crimea, which used to be a part of Ukraine, but it's been occupied by Russia, and it is an extraordinarily beautiful place. It's a paradise setting, kind of really similar type climate to San Diego, almost subtropical. Doesn't look anything like what you would think of as a Russia or Ukraine in the standard sense of a snowy kind of place. It mostly isn't. Um, and yeah, so I got this hat when I went back the second time, and I bought it in the city of Yalta, where Stalin and Churchill and President Roosevelt, I think, did their meeting. They had their big meeting post-war, I believe, in Yalta, and I was there at that castle. I believe this is where I bought the hat, actually. So, yeah, my grandpa uh, died about a year ago. My grandma a little bit more than that, and they spent a lot of time. They have a lot of crazy stories about the war. Like I said, my grandpa was in the war all 5 years. My grandmother's parents both died in World War II, and she was relocated and had an extraordinarily difficult time. She was living in Ukraine during the war, and my grandpa, I believe, was an artillery sergeant. So, just for some fun, I just wanted to tell you about this hat. And extraordinarily beautiful countries. There's so much beauty in Russia and Ukraine. Kiev, St. Petersburg, they're like it's like you're looking at an art piece when you walk through some of these cities there. They're so astonishingly beautiful and aesthetically pleasing to the eye, especially St. Petersburg, which is probably my favorite city that ever been to. And the art galleries there and everything is just amazing. So having said that, so the Toronto Business Journal, the interview did come out today, and I shared it on the previous link, but I'm also gonna share it. I'm also gonna share it down below here, and as soon as we have tonight's show with my friend, um, the Mighty Mackerel, I'm gonna post that link down below too. I'm not sure exactly what we're talking about, but I believe we decided on Fred Valentich, the mysterious disappearance related to UFO sighting in Australia in the 70s. And on top of that, other underwater mysteries like underwater submerged objects or USOs. The blue ocean related mysteries is possibly what we're going to be going for. And yeah, just a couple of things before I go. Something extraordinary actually happened over the past few days. So a little bit ago, I made a video talking about how the numbers have returned, and you guys kind of encouraged me to kind of like take a stand against them, sort of, and I did. So I kind of insisted and demanded that I stop seeing them because even though there are very positive elements to both the number 9/11 and 666, I personally, in my heart, don't feel like they were shoved in my face for a positive reason. Like, I think this is sinister. This is some kind of either a coercion or intimidation by the dark side. And that's what I feel in my heart is what was shown. And so I got tired of it. Like a few days ago, I just saw so many 9/11s. and so many 666s, and I'm like, I just like I sat down and I prayed. I'm like, I'm done. I demand you stop showing me the numbers. Whoever you are, I demand you stop, and I don't want to see them anymore. I don't want to be part of it. And guess what? Over like the last 3 days, I saw practically nothing. Practically nothing. So, one good thing about this Mandela affected realm is that it really does seem like mind made manifest seems to work a little bit more smoothly here. It seems like your thoughts really do have an impact, at least on a subtle way on your environment. So, um, if we could focus our attention, we could possibly get places. So, um, and I'm certainly not new to negative thinking. I spent a lot of my life deep in depression and in melancholy and sadness, which is probably how I attracted my hellish experience and probably how I attracted these numbers. And it's always a struggle to try to break out of this uh, phase of melancholy, especially being in the Mandela affected realm. This brought many people into a very depressive state, so I'm not unique by any means. But yeah, I'm really happy. I'm really happy that essentially my prayer has so far come true. And I'm just not interested in seeing them. It's enough. I just want to be at peace with this and just move on. Um, and it's and in addition to that, there's been some interesting experiences with kind of my own consciousness, my own state of being. I've been having these really deep, thoughtful, reflective moments. Like I was just riding around at work the other day, looking at the streetlights, and I just had this sudden connection. I just felt this like sudden, just personal connection to all that is for a brief moment. It wasn't anything close to like being in a heavenly realm and feeling that sort of intimate connection, but it was something like I felt part of the whole for a brief moment. And I've been having these sort of experiences like the last few days where I would just like be in this state where it just I feel frozen in time and just feel connected, just feel a deep sort of connection with everything, but then it would fizzle out, of course, and I would come back to struggling getting my mind in a positive way. But yeah, kudos to my grandpa. He died when he was 98 years old. Wrote a book about his experiences during the war. He made it all the way to the siege of Berlin, and yeah, interesting grandparents I had for sure. On my dad's side, I don't know much about them. They died when I was young, so I do know my grandpa on my dad's side had something to do with the Soviet Air Force. So, but that's all, folks. I'm gonna share those links in the pinned comments below. Have a good day.